Good afternoon. I forgot something this morning. This is a parenthetical note to my video of this morning in which I talked about the labels and how the labels are used uh, to divide people against other people. And then I ran into a NASA photograph and I put it and a re-rendering of it alongside, put that up, and I got an interesting comment. Somebody said to me, "Can't you tell a photograph from a CGI or something to that effect?" And what I had used was an original NASA photograph. And that reminded me how the flat earth movement and people with that label are using NASA photographs to prove that NASA's lying. And I forgot part of the problem this morning with psychiatry because what you notice now is that narcissism is a big thing. And who's a narcissist? A narcissist is a person who feels very certain about something, all right? And so, who's an empath? An empath is a person who has an open mind and who maybe thinks that real truth can't be discovered, all right? Let's look at some of the other labels that get bantied around by the psychological profession and how they apply to the labeling and dividing of people against people. What would paranoia have to do with our situation? A paranoid nowadays is somebody who's really scared because he doesn't know who to believe. How's about that one? Or how about OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder? That's somebody now who's really scared and they're very careful, right? How about somebody who's schizophrenic? All right, schizophrenic is when a person has more going on behind their eyes than in front of their eyes. They can't discern between their intuitive knowing and their cognitive knowing. And so they start making things up. Schizophrenic. You see how the use of identity labels can be can deteriorate to the point that people are calling each other mentally ill for their opinions and thoughts and expressions of what they think is true. Wherein, in reality, we know for a certainty, those of us who've lived for a while, that a person who is crazy or insane is that way because their behavior is harmful. They harm themselves by the way they're thinking. They actually do harm. So, insanity is about behavior. It's not about what you think is true. All right. Narcissism is not necessarily about somebody who's being a bully. It could be that somebody's describing that person as a narcissist because they dare. They have the temerity, they have the balls to state a strong opinion nowadays in this politically corrected world of Google and Facebook. I haven't had so much of a problem on Twitter. All right. So let us not use labels to harm our relationships with each other. And let us not use beliefs and opinions as the sort of defects that we want to use to offend and distance people. Because that's what these labels are doing. The Christians versus the atheists and the Zionists versus the Palestinians and the, you know, this just goes on and on and on, this divide and conquer. And what it does is provide a living for the journalists who are practicing these divisions and practicing this divide and conquer strategy. It's a tactic. It's not necessarily true. Yes, photographs can be used to prove that something is true or something is false. Testimony can prove something true or something false. We have a problem knowing what is true now because the people who have the work and the profession to state what is true are being bought off by ideologies, money, blackmail, and preferences, so that learning what is true, which is the basis for all problem solving, is becoming more and more difficult. And so that's what I wanted to add to this morning's little note about churches are now a racket. Congregations are fleeced for their money and are manipulated to make them feel happy. And that's not what God called anybody in history to do. So keep sharp, pay attention, and figure things out. Thank you. Bye-bye.